Hello, hello, my darlings, and welcome to another amazing week here on the Becoming Abundant podcast with your host, Anna Maria Jinga. How is everyone doing? How are you feeling? How are you enjoying the first long, warm days of summer? Even though it's not the equinox yet. Equinox, solstice, summer solstice, there we go. If it's not yet, that doesn't mean that we cannot enjoy long, warm days. So, how's everyone enjoying them? My loves, first of all, I am really excited to announce that we have a few new guest speakers on the podcast coming up in the following weeks. I already recorded another amazing episode with a fellow mom, a fellow trailblazer in her community, and I'm so excited for you guys to listen to that episode and to allow yourselves to be transformed by the movement that she is creating. I'm really excited I get to hold space for these kinds of presentations to uphold. And today, in today's episode, I want to take a different approach to speaking over you, just because it's not going to be a rant, but it's going to be a speaking of life back into you from the place of an understanding that the pain that we feel is not defining us. Because what do we believe over here in the space where God and growth align, but that we're not tied to our pain? We're not identifying with our pain. We are not wearing our pain and darkness as a badge that dies the moment you choose to live a better life, to live a more fulfilled life, to live a more abundant life. But some of you guys, come closer. Some of you guys are almost evangelizing your pain. I was going through a few, client calls and talks with friends and talks with people on comments, and I sometimes get sucked into that whole rabbit hole of, hey, it's actually not as dark and crazy and like aggressive as you guys see it. Not you guys that listen to this, but the people in the comments sometimes. And I feel this need to come and speak life into them and point out that it can be that simple to not wear the badge of honor of pain 24/7 and just put it down at the cross and let it die there. And people are very defensive of their pain. People are very defensive of their anger. People are very defensive of the trauma they went through, not to be like, hey, I went through all of that and now I'm healed and I'm great, and here's how you can do it too. Let me show you how great you can do it. Or just, hey, I got healed, or I'm healing through that. It's hard, but I'm making it happen. None of that. It's all, I am going through this. I'm never letting it go, because what if I change who I am if I'm letting go of the pain and darkness and trauma? What if I don't know how to become a better version of myself? What do you even mean about becoming abundant? There's no abundance in my pain. There's only abundance in the pain. Mm, man, I can tell you for a fact that some of you guys out there love your pain so much that the more you sit in it, the more you evangelize. And I kept saying this because as I was going through calls and as I was going through messages and comments on posts that were meant to speak life into people, and not my posts directly, but posts of friends that were meant to bring light onto honoring our husbands and honoring our growth and honoring the healing process, so much darkness came out of people. And this message came so loud: stop evangelizing your pain. And when I heard it, I was like, what are you talking about? Because the definition in the online Google documentary, dictionary, not documentary, when you search the definition of evangelize, it says here To evangelize means to preach the gospel to someone, to convert to Christianity, or to promulgate or promote an idea or doctrine enthusiastically. Think about it. How often have you sat with your pain and told someone, oh, this, what you're going through is nothing. Let me tell you how bad I have it. How many times have you heard someone saying, oh, that person complain about the smallest things when I look at me how bad I have it. I've gone through all of that. I've experienced so much darkness. I've experienced so much pain, and they're just complaining for having a bad day. You never know who is going through what. But the fact that some people are just sharing a little bit of their darkness and then putting on a brave face, that's the bravest thing they can do. But you wearing your darkness as a badge of honor is something that is limiting God's presence in your life. Because think about it. How often do we accept our circumstances thinking that's all we deserve because it's really bad and really heavy? When in fact, we don't see that the circumstances that we're going through are there to teach us a lesson, are there as a stepping stone, are there to build the becoming of us who we get to be outside of them. We don't see the outside because we go through heavy things and we stop there. It's like I probably either spoke on a previous episode or in a story about how, in order to see breakthrough happen in your life, you actually need to break through the darkness. You don't just stand behind a wall looking at it, thinking, oh, it's a wall, I can't do anything about it. But if you push the wall, you notice that it moves slightly. And then the more you punch it, the more you push it, the more you dig at it, the thinner it gets, the smaller it gets. You get hurt a little bit. I can tell you for a fact that when you break through that wall, it's not going to be easy, but it's simple. With the right amount of discipline, obedience to the process, and focus and drive, letting that fire inside you build you stronger to push through and push through and push through, because at the end of it, outside of that wall, is your breakthrough through it. So instead of getting stuck behind the wall or getting stuck in muddy waters, you keep going and you keep moving. And when you keep moving, you keep releasing the chains that are holding you back. Because those chains is like the image of a bird caught in a cage, and the bird keeps flying around the cage and sees the cage and then just sits there and looks at the cage, but it doesn't have the decency, the awareness, the bravery to turn around and see that the cage door is wide open. How many times, I remember this even last night, how many times do you have a random fly in the house and you open the door wide open and it still tries to hit the window because it's not aware of its surroundings? What are your surroundings telling you right now? What are they really telling you? Not through the filter of, oh, my surroundings are closing in on me. I only have this amount of space to move through. I can't do this. I can't do that, because you're not willing to take a step forward, or step around, or step up, or step down, because you're not aware, and we're not aware of our surroundings sometimes. And when we are not aware of our surroundings, we just take what we casually see and make that our reality instead of seeing the big picture, the big image, the potential. So, where in your life are you evangelizing your pain? Where are you evangelizing the trauma you went through and preaching it to everyone that if you go through this, you're only going to go through this. If you lived in pain, you're always going to live in pain. That is a pile of crap. And you and I both know it. You're more than that. You're stronger than that. You're more powerful than that. You're more capable than that because you're not doing it alone and you become a part of a bigger picture. You're becoming a branch of a bigger tree. I was reading this morning in my son's Bible about how in Jewish traditions they tie young branches to old branch trees, olive trees, in order to help build more growth, more revival into the tree. That's why sometimes when we see young Christians coming and speaking like, "Oh my God, that was amazing. That was wild. That blew my mind. I have so much freedom. I feel like I'm so different." And all Christians are like, "Yep, that's Jesus for you." But we don't see how powerful life is within them to be like revitalized by their presence. And sometimes we do the unspeakable act of saying, "Oh, it's okay. It's gonna tone down for you." No, never do that. Let people be in their energy, be in their excitement for Jesus, for their growth, for their healing, for whatever they're going through. My friend um, Courtney, we were talking last night about. I'm not going to share too much because I want you guys to listen to next week's episode because it's so powerful. But she created this fabulous app, which is not a social media app, but it's a tool. It's a space that you can just share your emotions and everything anonymously without judgment, without getting likes or comments or nothing. It's just airing it out. It's actually called Air Out. You're going to listen to the episode and know more about it. But the thing is, when people let it out, when they let out their joy, their excitement, their pain, their venting, their hurt, their whatever, let them. It's like that Mel Robbins reference. Let them. Let them speak their truth. Let them pour it out. Let them be wrong. Let them be right. Just let them. Let them believe what they want to believe. You speak your truth, and then they will either match your truth, understand your truth, or separate from it. And that's it. There comes a freedom, an anchored, grounded freedom when we let people just be. It's powerful, it's wild, it's amazing. But I will always remind you that when you speak too much negativity over your life, you're going to see more of that. So I will let you speak it. But I will also be here shouting from the rooftops that it's not going to change anything for you. The venting is great, it's healing. But you expecting constantly to see something different after you don't release the pain from it, after you don't take an action from it, it's going to feel hard and it's going to feel like the healing's not working. So, when we talk about actually speaking life back into ourselves, it's not negating the reality we're going through, but it's seeing it and then speaking better a bit of it. Because when we speak better, when we go through something hard, when we go through grief, pain, turmoil, any kind of dissociation, any kind of disobedience, any kind of falling out of sorts, and then we say, "I went through that, I'm going through that, and it's going to get better. I know every time I get better from these, I know that God is with me, walking with me by my side through all of this. I know that I'm really strong and resilient. I know that I am the light of the world. I know that through this turmoil, through this process, through whatever I'm going through right now, it's going to become a testimony for someone else. I know that this is strengthening me. I know that I'm going through this because I can have the power to overcome it. I know that even if I'm going through this because of my bad choices, I'm still able to make a different choice and see a different result. All of those are not negating the reality where you're at, but speaking life into the reality you get to create moving forward. So, my loves, I will leave you with that. I will leave you to ponder, to contemplate, to digest, to sit in the space of thinking, where are we speaking too much negativity, and what can we speak over that instead? Sit with it, ruminate, let it transform you from the inside out, and share with me your messages if you would love, because I absolutely love reading all of your emails and texts and audio messages. Thank you so much for tuning in to this powerful episode of our amazing Becoming Abundant community space here. Make sure you share it with someone that needs it. Make sure you share it with someone that can benefit from a little bit of life being brought back into them, a little bit of choice being brought back into their hands. And remember, my loves, until next time, I super love you. Take good care of yourselves. And remember to stay salty and bright. Bye now.